The funny thing about this podcast series is that I'm kind of going into absurd depth about my life and just telling every fucking story I've got and putting so much of myself out there that it's absolutely insane. But the funny thing about it is I'm kind of doing it so I can disappear. I think that's what I want, and I think that's what I've been building towards for a while, and what I'm going to continue building towards. And you're not going to see it, it's not going to happen like, obviously. It's going to be a long time. I think every time I talk about my future and my plans going forward, people expect to see the results of that immediately, and I'm usually describing something that I'm expecting to happen far off. Like, when I talk about what's next for the channel, I'm not talking about what's next this month. I'm talking about what's next year, you know? And, something I think is coming, is on the horizon, is me phasing myself out of being present in my work. Not out of being present, but out of being the focal point of my work. That's what I mean to say. Because currently, the way that my art is that it's just about me. It's primarily about me. Sometimes I make things that aren't all about me. Sometimes I make things that are really about somebody else, but it's a lot of it's from my perspective. And, you know, I am still very important to the product, and that'll probably never change. But a lot of what I make is just about me. And I kind of want that to stop. Not just because it's like a horribly arrogant style of video to make, but I don't really want to be a public figure anymore. Like, I've come to realize that my least favorite part of making art is the reaction to it, you know, and not being able to control the reaction and not being able to, I don't know. I expressed this fear back before I made my Patreon Discord, that I would not want to, you know, read the responses of the patrons to my work. And then when I made the Discord, I immediately went back on that and was like, no, it's actually awesome. Like, it's totally fun. But now I'm kind of in the twilight phase of that as well, where I'm like, okay, it is fun, and I don't mind it, and I'll keep probably looking at it for a long time. But, you know, I don't think it's always going to be something I want. And in many ways, I don't want to see discussion of my work at all. I kind of just want it to be out there and for me to not be a part of that conversation. I want to be able to make stuff and just kind of dump it out in the world, and I'm not really there to have a conversation about it, you know? And I don't want people to be following my life in intimate detail the way that they are now. And not to say that there's anything wrong with anybody for doing that. It's fine. I've set it up that way, you know? That's what I've been providing. But I want to get out of it. Like, I want to stop transforming every single thing I do into content. And I want to stop having people know everything going on in my life and have an opinion on everything going on in my life, you know? I want people to have fewer opinions about me and more opinions about my work. I want people to I don't want to be, you know, a guy who people are constantly fucking talking about online. I want my work to be stuff that people watch and consume, and for it to speak for itself. And I think I'm going to move in that direction in the future. And I think that the reason I've been doing the kinds of projects that I have been doing for really the past year is that I'm trying to get rid of everything. I'm trying to cleanse all of the ideas, all of the me that there is, until there's nothing left for me to talk about, like about myself, you know, until all that's left is for me to talk about other things, because I've shared nearly every story about my past, every fun little tiny story about something I did growing up, you know, I've managed to get it out there in one place or another, and if I haven't, I will have by the end of this particular series. And you know, all of that's out there, and then I also have expressed like every opinion I've had on art before. Like that's what the old ass anime cast was about. Not expressing my opinions on media, but explaining how I used to feel about that media. You know, like what opinions I've had in the past that never got expressed. And eventually, I what I'm hoping with all this will happen is that not only will all of the things that I did in the past that I felt never got to see the light of day, like projects that never got off the ground, things people never got to hear about, you know, all of that will have been explained. Anything I did that I felt was underappreciated will be appreciated enough. Like, you know, if I made something and nobody ever watched it, I'll at least have talked about it on a podcast and people will know that it was a thing that happened, you know? So I'll have validated everything I've ever done, essentially. And then I can just move on. Because, like, I'll have exhausted everything I have. And it won't stop me from being able to do podcasts and videos, you know? And I'm sure people will still absolutely love them the same way they do now. And maybe every once in a while, I'll update on my life. We'll do a Let's Play or something. And me and May will talk about, like, what we've been up to. But, I don't want to continue being an internet personality forever. I want to be an internet creator, but not an internet personality. I don't want to have a Twitter. I don't want to have social media. I don't want to read about myself on 4chan. I know people will be talking about me on 4chan. I don't want to read about myself on 4chan, you know? I don't want to read about myself anywhere on the internet. And I don't want to read reactions to my work. And I don't want people to be trying to talk to me and learn everything about my life. I think my real goal is to have phased myself out before I have children. I think that's what I want. I think by the time I have kids, I don't want to be an internet personality. I want to be home with my kids, you know? And I don't want the world speculating on my kids. I don't want everybody talking about them. I don't want them to be the stars of my videos all the time, you know? Like, I don't want every time my kid shits his pants to be something I talked about in a Let's Play. I want to have a private life by then. And, all of that stuff will probably make it into my art, but I don't want it to just be me explaining all of it. I don't want it to be all just up front, because the problem with doing things that way is that I have nothing left to put into I have nothing to make vague, you know? Like, to write a novel is to take your experiences in a very general way and turn them into a narrative that resonates with people. And what I've done is just explain every fucking detail of my life exactly as it is, you know? I've never been able to create something that I think on a broader scale will be applicable to people in a direct way. Like, people are broadly able to apply my whole like looking at me as the entire narrative of who Digibro is. There's a lot of applicability there, and certain individual videos have it too. But like, if you watch Digi and May's Pokemon journey, for instance, like, there's nothing about that that's going to teach you about yourself, really. You know, there's nothing about it that's like a strong narrative, other than that it's part of the Digibro narrative. And I want to create independent narratives. I want narratives that, like, instead of me just telling you what went on with my kid every day, I want to write a story about being a parent, you know, that like resonates with every person that, you know, like, will understand this idea, and not just people who are like obsessive cult Digibro fans, you know. But fading away is not necessarily easy when it's so habitual. And like, right now I really want to get off Twitter, but the only reason I check Twitter is that I habitually type TW into my keyboard and end up there, you know. And the only way to break that habit is like a combination of like blocking Twitter from my browser, which I've done a few times before. There was one time I blocked Twitter in my comment section for long enough that I like forgot about them for a little while. It definitely happened with my comments, because I used to check my comments on the comments page in my dashboard, and then I blocked myself from that page, and eventually I just stopped going there. Like, I stopped remembering that that's what I used to do, And it was great because I don't do it anymore. Now I go straight to the page of the video to read comments, and only for like the first day. And it's a way healthier relationship I have with comments now. And I'd love to do that with Twitter as well, but I feel like I need to go somewhere. I think I need to evolve the internet for myself, because for me, the internet has become nothing but social media. It's just become Twitter and YouTube and like little sprinkles of other social media sites, and I really hate all of them right now. And I think I need to find a site that just shows me fucking art. Like, that's all I want to see is art. I don't want to see anybody's fucking politics anymore. I just want to see fucking art, you know? So I think I might just follow, like, Pixiv or something. Like, I might try to get in on, like, to have something to check every day, but all it shows me is creative potential. If there was something like that for writing, like, that's what I feel like Twitter should be. Is like oh my god, I feel like I'm having a fucking, like, insane revelation about a site I need to make, but like I want something that's like Twitter if it was only the creative people, like only people like Drill who use their tweets to be funny and to like tell, you know, to like tell a narrative, tell jokes, as opposed to people who are just constantly fucking sharing their opinions on everything, you know? I'm sick of opinions. I don't want to hear about them anymore, you know, and I don't even know if I want to express them for too much longer. I would rather, you know, write something that hits you on a level that's deeper than just whether it's good or not, you know? I don't know how to explain this well, but yeah, I think this isn't going to happen anytime soon, and again, it's not going to be noticeable if it does. But what I would like to do is to offer myself more space to pursue creative endeavors instead of pursuing constant content, you know? And to do this is basically just, like, I can't, if I was asked to write a great novel at a consistent rate, I could probably do that once a year. But once a year is not, putting out a novel once a year is not the content people come to me for right now. In order for me to make it that, I'd have to slowly wean myself away. So, like, right now, people mainly come to me for constant content. And if I can make it so I can have that on autopilot for long enough while I go write a novel, and then I write an amazing novel, and I become, like, more famous as a novelist than I am as a video maker, then I can cut off the video stream and become a novelist, you know? Whether it's the same fans or not. I'm sure it'd be a lot of the same fans, but, you know, there'd also be new people and, like, a radical shift in what I'm known for. But I want that. I want to break away. I just don't want to be in a box. I don't want to be in the box of being a YouTuber who puts out constant videos, you know? But, like, because that's what I do right now, I have to keep that successful while I try to do other things, which is a difficult prospect. And the best way to do it is to sort of, you know, load up as much content as I can and give myself free space. So that might be what this is. That's at least what inspired me to go through with it. Like, I had the idea of a 2-hour podcast every day, or for all of January, so that me and May could listen to it while we draw. But what made me decide to go through with the plan is I was like, you know, if I had a video coming out every single day, then the people who just want human content machine, they got it. It's set. You know, like, all year it's set. The people who want more curated podcasts and, like, long main channel videos will get that too. Because with the human content machine thing just kind of chucked away and, like, doing its own thing, there doesn't have to be a fucking, you know, a new idea for a video every day. My schedule for November, like, what I've been doing in November is basically just whittling away. Like, I started the month with 1,000 podcasts and projects, and I've just been one by one whittling it down to the best. Like, till it's just the best ideas that I can do at their own pace, and it doesn't have to be a weekly show, you know? And, like, what I'm hoping will happen in 2018 is that instead of being a fucking 45-minute podcast every single day of the week, it'll be, like, 3 hour-long videos in a month that are all great. And then also an hour-long main channel video that's like mind-blowingly awesome. And the rest of the month, you know, you'll just have this coming out, running in the background for the people who just want something constantly and don't care what it is, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that'll work. I don't know if that's what's going to be happening. You let me know. Let me know what it's been like in the 2018 future where you're listening to these podcasts that I recorded months ago.